Have you ever felt like a lighthouse, built on someone else's shore, planted firmly at the edge of their turbulent waters, your one and only purpose to cast a steady beam into their fog, to be the fixed point in their disorienting storms? You watch their ships, their heartbreaks, their anxieties, their crises, navigate safely back to harbor, guided by your light. And when their waters calm, you remain, standing solitary in the quiet, watching them sail on, your own inner world shrouded in the very darkness you work so hard to illuminate for others. This feeling, this profound and lonely duty, is not a role you auditioned for. It was a uniform you were handed so long ago you've forgotten what it feels like to wear anything else.
This responsibility was seeded in a quiet climate long before you had the words for it. Perhaps it was in a home where the air was thick with unspoken things. You learned to read the weather not from the sky, but from the set of a jaw, the pitch of a voice through a closed door, the weight of a sigh in an empty hallway. You became a tiny diplomat in a silent war, an emotional interpreter for adults who had lost their common language. Your stability, your very sense of safety, depended on your ability to soothe the tensions around you, to listen, to understand, to absorb the discord, and offer back a fragile peace. You learned that your stillness could calm a trembling room. You learned that by focusing intently on the needs of others, your own needs could be quietly, safely set aside. They were too loud, too complicated. It was easier, safer, to become a mirror, reflecting back the emotions of those who held power over your world. And so, the seed was planted. My value is in my utility. My safety is in my service.
What begins as a survival tool, a quiet act of self-preservation, soon begins to root itself into the very soil of your identity. In your friendships, in your first loves, this skill becomes your calling card. You are praised for it. You're such a good listener. I can tell you anything. You always know just what to say. You're wise beyond your years. Each compliment is like water and sunlight to that growing seed. It feels like connection. It feels like love. You are seen, not for the messy, uncertain person you might be on the inside, but for the steady, reliable refuge you provide on the outside. And so you lean into it. You become the keeper of secrets, the holder of pain, the 2 a.m. phone call. You learn to ask the right questions, to nod with profound understanding, to offer solace without ever burdening them with your own story. Your empathy becomes a currency, the price of admission into the lives of others. The role of the therapist is no longer just something you do. It is who you are, the strong one, the stable one, the one who can handle it. The weight of this identity feels like purpose for a while.
But a lighthouse, for all its strength, is not a home. It is a solitary post, and the fractures begin to show, not in the stone, but in you. The burnout arrives not as a sudden storm, but as a slow, creeping tide of exhaustion that seeps into your bones. It's the feeling of your phone buzzing and your stomach tightening in anticipation of the next crisis you will be asked to manage. It's sitting through a 2-hour monologue about someone else's life, only to hear them say, "Oh, it's so late. We'll have to catch up on you next time," knowing that next time will never come. It's the quiet, simmering resentment that you immediately feel guilty for. You are the good friend, the strong one. How dare you feel resentful for playing the part you perfected? The fracture is the profound loneliness of being the most well-known stranger in your own life. You are a library of other people's sorrows, a detailed catalog of their fears and triumphs, but no one has a card to check out your story. They don't even know the library is open. You become a vessel, constantly poured out, with no one and nothing to fill you back up. Your empathy, once a deep and endless well, is now just a dry, echoing space, and you are so tired.
And in the hollowed-out silence that follows, an echo begins to sound, a question you were taught long ago to never, ever ask aloud. It's the whisper of the small child who learned to be quiet in order to be safe. It's the voice of the teenager who learned to be useful in order to be loved. The echo asks, "Who will hold me? Who will be the lighthouse for my storm? Is anyone listening for the sound of my silence?" This is the unspoken truth beneath the burnout, the desperate, unmet need to be seen, not for your strength, but for your softness. The yearning to be allowed a moment of collapse without the fear of disappointing everyone who leans on you. The echo reveals the deep-seated belief that your needs are an inconvenience, your pain is a burden, and your vulnerability is a weakness you must hide at all costs. It is the persistent ache for a love that is not earned through service, but given freely simply because you exist.
To hear this echo is not a sign of breaking. It is the beginning of your reclamation. The path forward is not about becoming cold or uncaring. It is not about demolishing the lighthouse and leaving ships to crash in the dark. It is about learning, for the first time, to turn that brilliant, compassionate light inward. It begins with witnessing. Look back at that small child who learned to be an adult too soon, and instead of judging their coping mechanism, thank them. They kept you safe. They did what they had to do. It continues with compassion. Offer yourself the same gentleness you so freely give to others. When you feel drained, allow yourself to rest. When you feel unheard, allow yourself the validity of that pain. And it solidifies with a new choice. The choice to build a boundary. Not a wall to keep everyone out, but a gentle gate. A gate you can open when you have the energy and close when you need to tend to your own garden. It's learning the sacred power of saying, "I love you, but I don't have the capacity to hold this for you right now." It's daring to be the one to text first about your own bad day. It's testing the waters of your relationships to see who will stay on the shore with you when your light flickers. You are not abandoning anyone. You are finally including yourself in the circle of your own care.
You are the lighthouse, yes. That strength, that empathy is a beautiful part of you, but you are also the sea, with your own tides and your own depths. You are the shore that needs to be solid, and you are the keeper of the light, who deserves to come inside, close the door, and be warm. Let yourself be warm.